Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits, well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. So let me know if you can hear my voice okay. It's a little gravelly today. Why is that? I literally lost my voice because I lost my self-confidence. That's why I wanted to share this with you today. Whenever I realized what was going on, how I was overcompensating for somebody else, how I was allowing myself to be triggered by old lies that I had accepted of what I needed to be for someone else to be okay. Once I realized all of that, I was able to reclaim my health and get it back. But it took a little bit. And for a couple of weeks, I've actually been suffering with something that could have been resolved within 30 minutes. But just because you're consciously aware of something doesn't mean that you are moving into healthier ways to cope with the situation. So once I realized it and then was able to do something about it, within 24 hours, I was feeling great. I just have some lasting effects of my voice being a little gravelly. So, unstoppable self-confidence. What does that mean to you? And what have the lies, what are they that you've bought into that are actually holding you back from what it is that you want to experience? Well, let's agree right off the bat of what healthy self-confidence is. It is the ability to take an action because it's a fuller expression of you, understanding that you have the potential to fail to get the results. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Self-confidence is you taking action that is a fuller expression of you. Not what other people want you to be. Not what they think you need to do. It is a fuller expression of you. So that's the first step. Something you want to be, do, or have. It's a result that you're going after. So that's the first thing in self-confidence. You're taking action on it because it's expressing you. That's the second step. And the third one is you understand that there's a risk that you might not get the results that you want, and you are still willing to pay the price of the fuller expression of you. You are still willing to take that calculated risk because we already know, because of Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule, that out of everything you do, this was developed by a 19th century Italian economist. He looked at wealth. He looked at work and productivity. He looked at how assets divided between the classes. And 80% of people have to divide up a small pittance of 20% among them. And 20% of people get 80% of the returns. So 80% of the work will be done by 20% of the people. And only 20% of the work will be done by 80% of the people. That's the 80% that I call the mediocre masses. Nothing against them, but for whatever reason, they've been conditioned to accept and settle for that middle level of, well, it ain't too bad. It ain't too good either. but it ain't too bad because they're not willing to risk feeling because of that fuller expression. So because of the 80-20 rule, it tells us that for every 10 things you do, 8 are going to fail. There'll be different levels of failure. Some will be absolutely outright, what in the heck? Others will be, well, there was a small amount of achievement there. But 2 of them out of that 10 are absolutely going to blow you away. Unfortunately for the mediocre masses, what they do is they stop at 1 1/3. That's the average amongst everybody. You're not even playing the averages out. So self-confidence, there are 3 lies that you've bought into that are holding you back from that fuller expression of you going towards that goal that you want and taking that calculated risk on the failure. The first one is you don't have the confidence. That's a lie. You do have the confidence. You have been conditioned and programmed to give that confidence away to someone else for them to be okay. Okay in their life, okay with their mediocre results, okay with using you and your energy and your focus to get them to where they want to be. Identity upgrades. See, you cannot solve a problem with not having enough money, not having enough time, not having enough love. You cannot solve any of those challenges on the physical plane with physical answers, because they are identity challenges. There has to be an identity upgrade. And identities are social experiences. If you could have done it on your own, you already would have. Okay, so lie number 1, you don't have confidence. Yes, you do. You've been conditioned and programmed to give it to somebody else. Lie number 2 is that you have the confidence and you're stuck and struggling. You're not moving forward. Hey, Shelley, goddess, I hope you don't mind that I call you. All the women in my world are goddesses and all the men are Adonises. That's what you hold within. Shelley, that's why I'm here, is I'm having a conversation with you right now, okay? So you let me know how I can customize this to you. Now, for anybody else that might be on the call, I'm looking down here at my stats to make sure I'm still getting a clear picture. And I know we've got some other people joining us. I know we're going to have some people joining on the replay. This is what I want you to do. Hashtag aha. Hashtag aha. And then you give me the insight. You give me what triggered that insightful moment of, well, this makes sense. Okay, great. The reason why I'm asking you to write it down is it's because it's been shown that when you write things down, it's better if you do it physically, but if you do it in a public forum, it can be just as powerful. That when you write hashtag aha and your insight, you are actually telling your subconscious mind, which runs your identity, that it's supposed to upgrade to this because you're taking ownership of it. So hashtag aha to claim ownership. Now, this is something else I'm going to do because we've got some other people on here live with us. Shelley was just the one that had the confidence to start claiming that identity upgrade at that point in time. We're also going to have people joining us on the replay. Between now and Monday, you have the ability to put down your hashtag ahas. And then what's going to happen is Monday, I am going to go through them. It's what I call spin the wheel of winning, right? And I am going to pick out of our ahas a winner for our course that's called From Goal Setting into Goal Getting. And it goes over the 6 identity states, mentally, emotionally, and physically, that will hold you back. And then what's on the other side of them with the law of polarity, we know everything is created in a whole. If you've got something that's stuck and struggling, well, you've also got progress and it's in the same place. So it will show you how to move from that stuck and struggling into the success that you're looking for. And that's only through hashtag aha. Also, if you have a question, put down Q and then your question, and I will be going through them between now and Monday, seeing how I can best assist you. Okay, so the lie number 2 is that you're stuck. You got confidence, but you're not moving forward. By the way, this is the reason why I lost my voice. No, that's a lie. You don't have the confidence that you need for moving forward. What you have is an agreement with someone to stay at a level for them. See how one builds on another. You don't have self-confidence. Yes, you do. Oh, I don't have self-confidence to go out and speak in public. Yes, you do. You have all the confidence you need. It's just that you've attached it to the other people's opinions about you. And that's more important than the fuller expression of who you are. What are they going to think about you? How are they going to judge? And then you can maybe be stuck as far as, well, I try to do it, and I just can't seem to get across what it is that I want to share with other people. I'm just using this as an example. And no, it's because someone in your life, it could be in the past. Here's the great thing about the subconscious. They don't even have to be in your life anymore for you to heal the relationship with them, because the subconscious mind does not know the difference between something vividly imagined and reality. It's the reason why I use hypnosis. Okay, so whether it was somebody in your past that gave you what's known as an imprint, a filter through which you're running everything, and they said that you needed to lose your voice for them to be okay, or it's someone in your present. Now, if it's somebody in your present that's doing it, it's simply because they're triggering somebody from your past who conditioned and programmed you to be that way. Okay, the last one. Fake it till you make it. Lie number 3. No, you can't fake it till you make it. That's where the imposter syndrome shows up, because you're claiming something that's not you. I don't want you to pretend to be somebody you're not. It is all about the fuller expression of what you've been born with. You have a talent unlike anybody else. It is your brilliance. But you were taught to turn that brightness, your brilliance, down so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable. You know, I had a coach one time that I thought she was really good, but at one point I needed to move on. And I ran into her several years later, and we decided to have lunch, and it was kind of a distant experience being across the table from her, only a couple of feet away. She just seemed so standoffish. And at the very end of the lunch, she said, you know, do you remember how I helped you get a presentation in front of another group? And I'm like, yeah, you know, I was so grateful for that. And she goes, well, I want to let you know the reason why you didn't achieve the success that you could have with it. Now, I was going back to that speaking gig I had several years previous, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I thought it was pretty successful. What's up? And she said, you think you're better than everybody else. And this is the reason why you have the problem that you do. And I was absolutely crushed. I went home in tears, by the way. In case you don't know, that is a tactic of somebody who needs to put you in their place of what they need to be able to feed off of you. Because, hey, live and let live, right? She didn't think I did it the way that it needed to be done. It could have very been simply, hey, I would have liked it to have been done different. You didn't. This is the reason why I don't get it. You don't get any more referrals from me. I can accept that. But a personal attacks come from imposters. They don't have enough of their own energy to be okay. So they need to bring you down to their level. This is something I want you to keep in mind with your confidence. Haters always hate up. It's just the way it is. They need to pull you down. All right. So fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it will have you pointing fingers at other people going, you're wrong. We don't need that. Go on social media. We already have enough of that, right? So instead, we want to showcase your brilliance that you already possess. So let's go through these 3 lies individually. All right, you don't have it. No, you do have confidence. As I said, you were conditioned to give it to somebody else. I'm looking down here at my notes because I didn't have time to do an agenda because I was helping other coaching clients today. Now, this will typically show up as what's known as a safe problem. For a lot of people, a safe problem is being overwhelmed, a lot of chaos, a lot of crisis, and a lot of confusion. Drama seems to rule the day. That is simply an indication that you've been conditioned to hand your confidence over to someone else. I've got this private client right now who has a lot of passions. And so I'm training her to be a certified hypnotist privately. And she's going, okay, well, I've got that passion. And then I've got this passion for this other job that I'm doing. And then I've got this passion over here that isn't so hot, but it is a way for me to fund the other 2 passions right now. And she's like, I just don't know if I have enough energy and enough focus to keep all 3 going. And I think I'm going to have to quit something. Maybe, maybe not, because most creative types are going to be multipreneurs. They're going to have a lot of different projects going on in a lot of different areas. There's nothing wrong with that. So I asked her that this overwhelm that she was experiencing, was this the first time that she had come across it? Now, I already knew the answer. 15 years as a certified hypnotist, instructor, and a rapid results coach, trained as a strategic interventionist coach, simply tells me all the different ways that we can muck ourselves up. So I already knew what her answer was going to be, but I wanted her to take ownership of it, which was, no, this happens quite frequently. See, going into the overwhelm when she's on the verge of a breakthrough is what she's been conditioned to do. Because she has been conditioned and programmed 80% before age 8, typically through either repeated trauma or one type of trauma. And I am not a therapist. I am a hypnotherapist. I take what you got going on and I don't look at the past and how it continues to muck you up. I look at, using the law of polarity, what's on the other side of it and how can we use it for moving you forward. Okay. All about identity upgrades is how I use hypnosis. So okay, so when you're on the verge of a breakthrough, somebody was feeling concerned about that breakthrough that you were going to have, and that maybe you were going to break free from them. And so they actually programmed and conditioned you to go into this overwhelm and pull yourself back so that way you could stay in a relationship with them. And again, 80% of who we are was learned before age 8. Okay, that's fine. Got it. So how do we overwhelm ourselves? Number 1, we look for certainty of approval in others. That's the very first level. Well, if you think about a little kid, don't they have to be okay by others taking care of them? But if that parent was emotionally absent or maybe physically absent, they would have to step in and begin to parent themselves at an age where it wasn't appropriate. And so now they are continuing looking their adult life for that next coach, that next course, that next book that is going to make them okay. They continue to hand their power away to other people. I get that. Oh my gosh, do I get that? I was the poster child for this. At one point I was looking at leaving a very dysfunctional marriage, and it was dysfunctional at both of us. Okay. It takes two to tango, right? And my mom looked at me and said, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. Inferring I should stay where I was because at least I knew what to expect. Now, it wasn't until later, hey, Mom, love ya. And boy, she is so much healthier now than what she used to be. But I had to look at her at that point in time, and she had been in I was 30 when I was looking at doing that. So she had been in a 30-year marriage that was quite abusive. Okay, so how could she tell me anything different? Okay, so number one, you have been conditioned to hand your confidence over away to someone else, doing that emotional work for them. So that way they don't have to do it. They're emotionally absent, but you will continue to try to find people who will take care of you. And what do you draw in? The one that you were programmed to experience which was the emotionally absent one. Okay. And when you overcompensate, you never have enough left for you. Number two, high levels of drama. High levels of, oh my gosh, there's always going to be crisis, chaos, and confusion. The only way you're going to get anything done is by having your back up against the wall. That's the second level. Okay. Third level. Oh, this is where you get to play the savior. You'll either do that by being the martyr and look at everything you have to give up for others to be okay. Again, not your fault. You were conditioned to do this. Or look at how you have to ride in on your white horse and save the day, which always leads to level 4. Level 4 is always staying connected to the problem because you continue to repeat it through your relationships as you get older. Because it is the victim, it is the bully, and it is the hero. You can never be confident when you're always fulfilling one of these roles. And when you get tired of being the victim, now you're going to complain about the bully to everybody else. And you're going to be the bully, talking bad about them, looking for the hero to come in and save you. And when that doesn't happen, then you're going to be looking for other people to save. So the crisis, chaos, confusion, and overwhelm is a safe problem that you'll run up against just as you're ready to break free from that triangle and say, I don't have to play any of those roles. I just need to know, number one, is what I'm going after, what I want. Number two, is it going to take me closer to my goals? Because you can have a series of goals, but they don't all rank at the same level. Sometimes you're going to have one that needs to be more important, even if it's just for that day. But if you've ranked everything the same, then what you're going to do is going to try to find balance. And you hear people talk about balance, and balance doesn't exist. Balance is a man-made concept. The subconscious does not recognize balance because balance says 8 hours for your work, 8 hours for your important relationships, 8 hours for your health, 8 hours for some rejuvenation time. Have you already figured out we've run out of time? We've run out of resources. We look for harmony, but harmony can only exist when there is order. And if you go back to any major religious or text, what is the very first thing that happened? The divine, that higher power, called order out of chaos. That is the first rule of life. Divine order. So, step number 2. You feel like you're stuck and struggling. You're developing some confidence because, hey, this is something you want. And it's going to get you closer to your goal, but you're just not moving forward. You're not moving forward because you're in agreement with somebody else, maybe from your past, but it's going to show up in your present because that past relationship will seek fuller expression through people who are in your world right now. And so they will trigger old ways of being. I'm going to give you an example. And this is going to be me personally. Okay. I had a very simple request from somebody in my world, a vendor, a 1099 employee for my business, a very simple request for them. And it was something that I wanted them to do for a campaign I was launching. In fact, if you want to see the webpage, it's canhypnosishelpyou.com. I bought a URL. It's a very simple page that says, hey, if you want to talk to me about what you want to experience as far as an identity upgrade, here's how you contact me. 636-699-7791. Anyways, I was going to run that on a billboard, canhypnosishelpyou.com. So I just needed that URL to point to the page that I had developed. It should have been a 15 to 30 minute conversation. It wound up dragging out 2 weeks. I lost my peace, and peace, that harmony, means nothing missing, nothing broken. I lost my peace because I voluntarily handed my energy and confidence over to someone else to determine about whether or not I was going to move forward. And I'm going to tell you right now, what are the steps that it shows up in? Well, step number 1, crisis, chaos, confusion, overwhelm. I don't know where I should be looking to go first. That's the first thing that'll show up. That is an indicator that you're handing your power away to somebody else. Step number 2, stress emotions. Stress, there's nothing wrong with it, but there's 2 types, distress and eustress. That's spelled EU in the word stress. Eustress is phenomenal because we need that tension to develop. We need that experience of, oh my gosh, the energy is getting stronger and stronger so we can push off. It's like the athlete, that sprinter in the starting blocks. We need that to build. But when it doesn't find fuller expression on the outside, remember that's what I said, self-confidence was the full expression of you in the moment, externally, you're implementing. If it can't find that because of a relationship you're in, you're going to turn it against yourself. And those emotions are going to start wearing you out. That's when you ruminate over and over again. People think that those uncontrolled thoughts are something mental. No, they're not. That's an emotional state saying that you have not given an outlet for this energy. And if you don't get the signal from those 2, which I did not, because remember how I said that identity upgrades are a social experience? I didn't take this to my coach. I have a group of friends. There's 4 of us, and we talk about what is everybody's nickname. You know, we have Miss Procrastinator because she shows up to everything late. We have Miss Play Card because she has so many people moving in and out of her life all the time. We literally need a play card, like on a sports team, to know who's what. Okay, assign numbers to them and jersey names. All right. We've got Miss I know better than they do. She always, her job, she figures, is to right all the wrongs in the world. Okay, my title is I can do it all on my own, DIY. It's something that I'm always going to have a challenge with. I don't know what yours is, but here's the wonderful thing. The law of polarity said there's something excellent on the other side of it. What's on the other side of it? I teach people how to empower themselves, DIY. I ain't going to do it for you. Do not be dependent on me long term. Let me show you how to experience transfer of authority. So I've taken the negative and I've packaged it for progress. Okay. But I didn't take this to my coach, the mental and the emotional. And finally, it hit the physical level and I got sick. Saturday was a phenomenal day. By Saturday night, I started feeling ill, couldn't figure out why. Sunday morning, woke up sick, stayed in bed all day. By Sunday night, I know what's going on. I had lost my voice. Well, in my job, isn't that my power center? Yeah. I mean, put yourself in my shoes and start coaching and say, okay, why did you lose your power center? Because you were asking somebody to do something that they refused to do, that they were finding fault with, that they were causing you to first worry and then doubt yourself. Worry always shows up first. Once you get to doubt, you have just opened the door for someone else to step into your garden of growth and start taking your energy. It's kind of like that story about the coach that said, hey, you think you're better than everybody else? I don't think I'm better than anybody. I just have put together a process and a system that will help you go from where you are to where you want to be as quick as possible. I'm sharing part of that system with you today. If that resonates, phenomenal, stay in my world. If it does not, I wish you the best in finding what it is that you're looking for. Live and let live. Okay, so you are in agreement with somebody that's now taking your power away. So let's look at what that agreement might show up. First, I said it's worry. Remember, that's this. And then doubt. Because the person that I was asking to do this was going, yeah, I don't think this is right. I think you are going to fail. I think you're not going to get the results that you want. Now, we already determined at the beginning of this master class, this unstoppable self-confidence, you are willing to pay the price for failure. You're going to do it in a way that it is structured to where it's going to minimize your losses until you figure out what it is that you're doing. But you're willing to take that risk. You are willing. Okay? But when they got you in doubt, that's when you're going to be questioning your capabilities. And then they get to step in and they get to control you because you're very vulnerable at this point. Identity upgrades are social experiences. You're going to have to ask for assistance. The reason why you don't want to ask for assistance, you've been burned before. I get it. I've been there. That's why I'm Miss DIY. But the very thing you want to avoid is the very thing that you'll wind up continuing to recreate in your life because that person you got into agreement with on step one, where they said, oh, you don't have any confidence. You need to be relying on me. There needs to be a lot of drama. You need somebody to save you. You need to be the victim, or you'll wind up being the bully or playing the hero. That's going to keep you connected to them. You will continue to play out those relationships as you move through your life. And maybe it's a blip in the relationship where your growth is going to trigger their dysfunction and they're going to try to pull you back in to who they knew you to be. And it's nothing at all to do with you and everything to do with them. But you don't know unless you involve someone else and go, you know what? Am I taking too big of a risk? It is what I'm wanting to do. Is it burning bridges instead of just crossing them to see what's on the other side? This is the reason why it needs to be a social experience, but not with people who want to see you stuck at the same level. It needs to be with someone who knows how to get you across the bridge, explore what's on the other side, and then say, was the price you paid worth it? Do we need to look at exploring the next bridge? Or do you need to cross back over and go back where you were? But only you have the right to determine whether or not you want to take that risk. And at this level, you're getting an agreement to stay stuck because that other person has decided that they know what you need. See, they're playing your hero. But it's a hero who's really a bully in disguise. When you ask for assistance, when you ask for advice, there's a difference between an audit and an accusation. An audit is when you are going to go through with another person or a group of people different viewpoints and say, is that a fit with what I want to experience? Is this more growth? An accusation is where the other person involved or people, because we can see that happen, especially in families, right? Where they decide that they need to gang up on you. Okay. So an accusation is where they want to prove that you're wrong and they're right. How am I doing on time? Got to finish up in a few minutes, okay? You're wrong, they're right, because that is the number one fear we have left over from our childhood. Because when we were wrong, what happened? We were cut off from the tribe. We were grounded. We were kept from doing the very things that we wanted to do. When we were made wrong, not what we did was wrong, but when we were made wrong, we developed shame. See, guilt is phenomenal. Guilt says you're getting ready to violate one of your values. But is it really one of your values, or is it values somebody else gave you? You need to start thinking about that. So instead, what we're looking at is we're looking at you taking responsibility for the fact that it may not work and the action you take may be wrong. And they're going to try to keep you from it. They're going to try to save you from yourself, which is exactly what was happening with my vendor. She's like, it's not going to work. And like I said, it was very simple what I was asking her to do. And she's like, I think you need to be doing all of these other things instead. And it got to the point to where I literally had to break off the relationship with her as a vendor. Something simple, because she would not do what I asked her to do because she felt like she understood the risk that I should be taking in my business more than me. And something simple like that, I handed my power away, which is the reason why I lost my voice. And as soon as I recognized what I was doing and said, I need to let go of that relationship because over the last 2 weeks, we've tried growing it together. And for whatever reason, we can't grow together. Doesn't make her wrong. It just means I'm going down a different path. As soon as I hired a different person, my voice started clearing up immediately. Okay. Which moves us into step number 3, lie number 3, fake it till you make it. You can't fake it. You have to discover which one of these levels is holding you back and what's on the other side. So that very first one, that level of certainty where you continue to look for other people, places, and things to make it okay for you, you need to take 100% responsibility. I'm taking 100% responsibility for the fact that I stayed in that relationship with that vendor out of the 2 weeks, probably 12 days too long, because I kept thinking that maybe we could play the hero and make it okay for each other. No, it was no longer a fit. Okay. So I had to take 100% responsibility for going out and finding someone else to make it happen right away. That's it. End of story. Okay. So taking 100% responsibility for where you're at right now. Step number 2, understanding that all that drama, crisis, chaos, and confusion is showing up because you're not implementing on the outside. You're not taking that calculated risk. Step number 3, which is all about worthiness. Step number 3 happens when other people are involved. Remember how I said you can either play the martyr or the savior? Okay? No, this is where you're admitting you need assistance and you're bringing someone in for them to experience you and assist you in bringing yourself out at your best instead of you continuing to distract yourself trying to do it for other people. Because that's what this level is all about. Oh, I'll earn my worth just by making sure that they're all taken care of. No, this is when you have to step up, do that responsibility, and say, this is what I need to channel moving to the outside, whether it is that self-confidence you want in your business, whether it is asking for your worth, whether it's in your relationships, whether it is tapping into untapped potential and saying, how can I take this calculated risk? Because what this all leads to, that final level that caps it all off, which is validation, is getting your brilliance out into the world. That's what it's all about. And the reason why you're not shining as bright as you can is you've bought into someone else's lie, a fake it till you make it, be something that you're not, which means getting into agreement of holding yourself back and that you don't have any confidence because you are too busy overcompensating with everybody else in your life. Boy, I hope this made sense for you. Let me know if it did. #aha. Okay. How can I assist you with all of this if it has made sense? Well, let's look at what we need to do about upgrading your identity in all of these areas, because if you're here and if you're with me right now on this, it shows you're on the verge of the breakthrough. It shows that you're getting ready to step over the line of polarity. What's the line of polarity? It means that everything has two sides to it. There's a front and there's a back. You see the front of me. You already know that there's a backside. There's a down and there's an up. There's an inside, there's an outside. But you stop right before you get ready to experience what's on the other side, because it's not what you've been conditioned and programmed to do. You've been conditioned and programmed to hold yourself back. It's not your fault, but you have to take 100% responsibility for moving forward. So this is what I'm going to do. Reach out to me to see if I can assist you utilizing hypnosis and coaching. You'll get results with one session with me. I'm going to tell you that right now. One session, and your life will begin to be radically upgraded from what it was before. Sometimes things take longer than one session. Sometimes they don't. I'll be straight with you. I'll let you know exactly what you need. But to keep the identity upgrade, you also need to understand that there's a process and a system that you want to be using for yourself. So this is what I'm going to do. I've got that process in the system that I am sharing in a 2-day intensive called Vista. I'm offering that intensive in September, October, and November. So you got 3 dates to choose from. This is what I'm going to do. You reach out to me between now and Monday, 636-699-7791. And we choose yes, that we're moving forward in a hypnosis session that's also combined with coaching. It's 2 hours with me. I'm going to gift you a seat in Vista. That's what I'm going to do. You're going to have to remind me, though, because this is an unpublished offer. It's not any place else. So when you call and talk to me, you're going to say, hey, yeah, I want to see if we're a good fit for each other, utilizing hypnosis for the identity upgrade. And you also talked about the Vista ticket, because this is the only place I'm offering it. Okay? All right, so let's wrap it up with your plan of action. Plan of action number 1, make sure you put down your ahas. Hashtag aha. Step number 2, look at where you do have self-confidence, but it's overcompensating for other people. That's the reason why you're not recognizing it. Step number 3, the agreement that you went into that keeps you stuck by making someone else okay with where they're at. And step number 4, where are you ready to showcase your brilliance? Is it in your health? Is it in your business, your career? Is there a particular relationship? Or is there something that you're like, you know what? I think I want to explore this further. And then step 5, reach out to me, 636-699-7791. Keep in mind, you have a unique brilliance about you. It's how you get your gifts out in the world. It is time for you to get off your gifts and get them out there, because in case you haven't noticed it, the world is a pretty dark place right now for a whole hooping bunch of people. They need your light more than ever so they can find their own switch. You need to be doing the transfer of authority and the transfer of power to them. I'm ready to assist you with yours. And when that happens, together we can make the world a brighter place. So until you and I talk on the phone, I'll be looking for those hashtag ahas as well as your cues for questions. Go out and have a brilliant day.